You're listening to Conversation Kingz with Dominic Emerson, only on LA Talk Radio.
Welcome to the Conversation Kingz. I'm your host, Dominic Emerson, here live on LA Talk Radio. And today I just want to talk about inspiration and motivation with meditation. And I have a special guest coming on. First, I want to give a shout out to the Locker Room Barbershop. If you need a haircut, go by there. And my special guest is Miss Andrea Whalen, and she's a best-selling author, poet, and a yoga teacher. Welcome to the Conversation Kingz here at LA Talk Radio.
Thank you. Hi, Dominic. Nice to meet you. Thanks for having me.
The pleasure's all mine, and we welcome you here at the Conversation Kingz at LA Talk Radio. Well, I know that you're a best-selling author. For the people that are that are watching the show and going to listen to it on the radio, could you let them know something about yourself?
Sure. I am a yoga instructor. I own Gangamoon Yoga in Beamsville, Ontario. If you're not from Canada, that's between Toronto and Niagara Falls. I've written 3 books in 3 years. 3 book awards have been won, and 2 of the books are best-selling books in the categories of yoga and also mind, body, soul, and inspiration categories, which has been really fun.
Yeah, I talk a lot about mind, body, and soul because that's something that I'm trying to get into for 2024. I don't really have a true resolution, but I just want to be in tune with myself and my mind, body, and soul, you know. And so in writing your books, you know, what inspired you to write your books?
I'm all about the healing process. And I think that in order to have any peace, there needs to be some kind of soul work done. We need to put childhood experiences in perspective, adolescent experiences into perspective. And then once those pieces are kind of put away, there's a chance for practice. There's a chance for peace. There's a chance for any opportunities where you want to kind of grow and develop a connection to your soul, to your spirit. Without that kind of soul work, without some practice, self-inquiry, those types of things, then when you go to do a practice, they'll come up and they'll interrupt. And so that's been a really key for me to be able to do what I'm doing.
That's great. That's awesome. You know, and a lot of people are getting into yoga, getting into meditation, and getting into their spirituality. But it's great to have this information from such a great author as yourself out there so that way people can get a true understanding of the process. But what is your writing process like when you get ready to write these books about yoga and inform the people?
You know, it's really channeling. Is I hear the words all the time flowing through my mind. And for me, it's a matter of capturing what I hear. And so often I lose it. But it's really channeling and listening to my inside voice. So I've kind of cultivated that connection between my intuition, you would call it, but I really can hear it. It's the strongest voice in my head. And I think the yoga helps with that because yoga really is a practice of quieting the mind. And when the mind is quiet, you can hear that inner song, that inner intelligence, that inner destiny, fire, call it whatever you will. We all have it.
Right.
But in the process of quieting the mind is when you hear it. The yoga books, I was inspired because they closed my yoga studio down during the pandemic. But I knew that all of my yoga students were out there and that the yoga students were out there. And so I really wanted to touch hearts and using my words and the channeling experience, being a poet, is the way that I chose to do that, hopefully.
That sounds great. That sounds very awesome. And what you're doing and sharing and giving back to the people. What are the names of the 3 books that you have written?
I have No Matter How Dark the Stain, Poems and Inspiration for the Woman in Pain. That is book number 1. And book number 2 is Deeper Days. This one here is 365 yoga inspirations for inner calm amidst chaos. and you know, the world got a little bit chaotic there for
Right.
a while, and I think it always will be. But
Right. Right.
but there is calm inside of us all, and when you have that, when you experience that, then there's a place for stillness, and stillness is a storm in the storm. A conscious daily journal of yoga and spiritual healing is the latest book that just reached bestseller status on August 31st on Amazon. So that was
Nice.
exciting. Yeah, it's
Nice.
exciting.
So they can find your books on Amazon, or there are other platforms as well.
Yeah, any online bookstore, Barnes and Noble, Chapters Indigo in Canada is a big store. Most of the online bookstores have No Matter How Dark the Stain and Deeper Days. Stillness in the Storm has a journal aspect, so there's a lot of space to write out your thoughts and different things. So that one's a different category. That one's just on Amazon right now.
Beautiful, beautiful. Could you give us a little precept of what No Matter How Dark the Stain is? I mean, if you don't mind.
I love that book. No Matter How Dark the Stain is all poetry that was written from when I was 7 years old. I started to channel poetry. So that book is all poems that I wrote through all of life experiences, all of my childhood, any traumas, pains, relationships, breakups, things that happen to women. I wrote through all of that. And what I noticed through that writing is that with the poetry, there is a power to heal with the words. When you write things out, there is a silver lining that can be made, and there's an alchemy that happens and a transformation that happens. So no matter how dark the stain, I put out when I heard during the pandemic that domestic violence had gone up 60%. That might be different where you are, but the phone calls to the police, and when I heard that statistic that it went up 60%, I thought of all those women, and I thought of all the years that I was writing through all those kind of woman things, you know,
Right.
without
Definitely.
getting into too much detail.
Definitely.
But
Definitely. We don't want to give away the book because, you know, we're still selling the book and everything like that. But, you know, it's great that you are able to put what you were going through down on paper and for it to be able to be sold so people can experience that not only are they going through it, but somebody else is going through it too. And the transparency is what you actually put into the book, if I'm correct, right?
Absolutely. It puts words to experiences. So just for example, there's one poem in there called Rohypnol, which is a quite common thing to have happen to people, the drug Rohypnol in the drink. I think
Yes.
even these days there's nail polishes now that girls can buy, and you put your nail in the drink and you can tell if the drug was in there. Fast forward, after the book was written and I did my first book signing at Kohl's bookstore, a young lady had come up to me and she was holding the book tightly. It was a gift from her father because her dad had the inkling that something like that Rohypnol drug experience happened to his daughter, and he didn't know what to say, so he gave her the book. And when she came to the signing, they came together, and she said to me, I didn't know that there was words for what happened to me.
Wow. Wow.
And there is, and I didn't know why I was writing them or that it would have such an impact, but I knew it was greater than me, and I knew it felt like a push to get the book out. And that's the reason we need words for the things that happen, so we can have peace, so they can go to rest, so more life can come. Good things.
Definitely.
Like kindness, compassion. There's
Definitely.
space for all of that too.
Definitely. You know, you hit the nail on the head because I have daughters also, right? So I always tell them if they go out and they get something, and just so happen if they're drinking or whatnot, to pick up your drink and carry your drink with you, because you never know what's going on, right?
But there's predators, right? And so even if they do carry it, it will still happen. But the main thing to teach people is that you can heal from it. That's the main thing, that you can handle hard things.
Definitely.
And I don't think we're taught that really young, but I think it's important to say.
No, we're definitely not taught those type of things. And it's awesome that you're putting this down in your books and everything, and you're helping people with their healing, because I've seen across social media that a lot of people put for their New Year's resolution for 2024 that they want to go into the healing process and they want to do some type of meditation, or they want to go into yoga or some spiritual healing and everything like that. And to have someone like you with your books available is awesome, just so they can go pick them up. Could you let them know where they can reach you at directly?
Yes.
On your social media sites?
Yeah, gangamoonyoga@gmail.com is my email. And there's a Facebook page, Gangamoon Yoga, also on Instagram and LinkedIn. Also, you can find me just at my name that appears on the screen, Andrea L. Whalen, which is spelled a little bit different, but it's WEHLANN. Using those hashtags, looking up the books on Amazon, Andrea L. Whalen, or by the titles of the books, you'll find me.
Exactly. You know, and I'm a research type of person. You know, I read your biography and everything. I was like, wow, she's awesome. She's great. This is beautiful, you know, because you said mind, body, and soul, right? I did a show last year, and I said that for 2024, I'm trying to connect and align with my mind, body, and soul. Could you elaborate for people, because I'm new to this? Could you elaborate to people how we can try to get that in alignment?
Yes, it's good for you, and it's so important. So in yoga, we like to, there's different energies of the body, and as in physical, mental, spiritual, emotional. Those are the most common that you probably just hearing me say it, you'll recognize in yourself. So when we practice yoga, or when we quiet the mind, we yoga and we bring a couple of those energies together, if not all of them. And there you have your mind, body, soul connection. When you have that, it's like you, but firing at higher frequencies. So a best version of yourself, per se. When you close the eyes and quiet the mind, there's a gift that happens that you don't know unless you practice. And in Zen, there's a practice called Vipassana, which is a type of meditation. There's many. Vipassana means insight. And when you close your eyes, when the mind is quiet, it's not like that's all there is, or that that's all we're doing. But there's practice and there's technique. And the gifts or the gems or the jewels of practice is insight, which is your higher self, some would call it, or your inner song, or your destiny. It's like a tape that's always playing, but while we're busy, we can't hear it.
Right.
And so the yoga or stillness is so important, but it's a practice from you, through you, to you. It's so beautiful.
Awesome.
It's so beautiful. Because you're at the end, you get to know yourself more, which is amazing, because we're all amazing.
I totally agree. You know, that's my practice for what I'm trying to do in 2024, and just be one and be still myself. But as like you alluded on, there's so much noise going around that we need to practice yoga, practice meditation, practice becoming one with ourselves and aligning our mind, body, and soul. And that's the great thing about having an author who's written a book that you can get that information from on how to at least get started in going in that direction. So go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, it's great to have someone like you to have that information so somebody can reach out and gather that information.
You know, and here's what I want to say. For me, I mean, I climbed the mountaintops of Brazil, Italy. I thought peace was somewhere in Tibet, and so I went to find it. But here's what I want people to know. This day and age, you have all you need within. Our consciousness is lifted. We can grasp these concepts. We have the internet now. It can be really, really simple. And so Deeper Days, for example, is a practice of self-inquiry. So each day you read something, just a little paragraph. You're not reading a whole book here. But while you make your coffee or before you brush your teeth, you make it part of your habit. Have the book open, read the passage, ponder. And at the end is just one sentence, like, there's nowhere to get to, we are already here. And this is a practice, it's one of the limbs of yoga, and it's about concentration. In Sanskrit, it's called dhyana. But if you can concentrate on one thought a day, you will strengthen the muscles or water the seeds that are already within you of focus, awareness, and concentration. And then imagine doing that every day.
Right, right.
Like,
That's beautiful.
there's a kingdom within you. There's a kingdom of peace, of joy, and love and abundance in all of us. But the mind is a trickster, and culture is so fast paced and quick,
Yes,
and
yes.
so you need to get in, and
I
that's where
definitely
yoga can
agree.
help, or just the books can help.
I definitely agree, you know, and that's what we all need. We all need to find our peace within us and live in that peace, right? But like you're saying, if we do that every day, think of something, make it a habit, make it become habit forming to do that every day, right?
It becomes part of you. So if you wake up and you make your morning drink, your coffee or tea, and you have Deeper Days open, I have a book stand for mine, and you read that, you'll see what it becomes. It changes the cells, the patterns in the body. You're adding meaning to your day that way.
Yes.
If not, you're going outside and that jerk cut you off, or this engine smells, and your whole day is consumed, right? But if you
Right.
hold that one thought a day and you can come back to that thought,
Yes.
you're like, it's amazing. The power of this yoga practice is amazing. And it doesn't start with me. I'm not saying anything new. This is what sages and ancient people have been doing all of these decades. So I've practiced it. I've done it myself. It kept me cool through COVID. And it can benefit other people, which is why I'm here.
Definitely, definitely. Well, this is the Conversation Kings. I'm your host, Dominic Emerson, here on LA Talk Radio, and I'm speaking to the best-selling author, poet, yoga teacher, Miss Andrea Whalen. And this is great information and great insight for those that are watching, going to be watching and listening later on. If you have anything that you want to get into, or you want to tap into yourself within yoga or meditation, I definitely encourage you to pick up these books, so that way you can get started on your change. As she said, transformation, because we need that transformation. And she is someone that has great insight into it. I definitely would suggest that you all follow her and follow along. And since I've been following you, I mean, I see totally different things that are amazing to me. Like, my eyes are opening up. I think you had a post or something like that to that effect.
Probably.
You know, and it just is changing the way I think, because like I said, I'm trying to get into my mind, body, and soul. And as far as authoring go, like, what advice would you give to somebody just getting started, an aspiring writer?
I keep going. Keep going. I have every reason to quit and to give up. And the words that were in me were so strong that I couldn't not follow that. There's something that's inside of you that's speaking to you, or you're hearing words if you're a writer, and just write it out. Get a pen, get a paper, make it cute, make it inspiring, and put it on paper. And it's like, when you first start to write, it's like you're creating space, and more flow can come. If we hold it in, it just sits there and ruminates and goes around and doesn't really do anything. But we're energy. The words are energy. Let them out. That's why Stillness in the Storm was so important to me. It has blank pages, just with a little bit of writing and a little picture, because I like to write in journals like that. I think it's inspiring, and that helps sometimes when you're just sitting there and you're like, what should I say? Then that helps. But it's a force. It's an actual force within you. Once you start to write and create that space, more of that starts to flow through your body. So it's just to start where you are, to not be afraid, or to keep going if you're on the process. Don't give up. And think of what Les Brown says, that the saddest graveyard will be the one buried with your books in it, or the songs that you didn't sing, or the poems that you didn't write. Wouldn't that be the saddest graveyard?
Right. That's so true. So true. You know, and it's definitely like you said, there's so many people like now that are getting into journaling, right? And why not go pick up a book that gives you inspiration while you're journaling as well? So I definitely suggest to everyone, go pick up that book, so that way you can definitely get started that way. And some people start out journaling and then end up writing. Am I correct?
I think so. I don't know what the difference is really.
Right.
Right? I don't. But for me, I have a different angle, because there was something divine in me, which in Zen I refer to as bodhicitta. And there's a poem in my book, No Matter How Dark the Stain, called Bodhicitta. I feel like I was born with that sense. I feel like I was channeling words for a long time. So I don't, maybe because I'm a poet, I don't really know the difference between journaling and writing, but I do know that if you quit, you'll have nothing.
Right.
And then I also think about this, that I'm not living forever, and I live each day like it's my last. I really do. And my kids will always know their mom with these books out there.
Right.
They can always go and find me on these pages. It's my heart, it's my soul, and they'll have something. So what will you leave your kids? Right? If you get in your way, because let's be real, there's resistance. If you say you want to lose 10 pounds, somebody's showing up with pizza.
Right.
So it's like, so then sometimes it's helpful, or chips. Sometimes it's helpful to think about who's around you and to do it for other people. Sometimes I don't like being in photos or being on camera, but then there's another part of me that says, who am I not to? And we all serve no one by playing small. And this is 2024. We have to rise up. We have to come into our destiny and our purpose.
Right.
The time is now.
Definitely. I definitely totally agree with you, right? Because we have to leave a footprint.
Well, we're leaving a footprint regardless. We're leaving a footprint. Right?
Yes.
So what footprint are we going to leave?
Definite, right? You know, my father used to always say, you have a beginning day when you're born, then you have an end date. What is in between that dash, right? What did you do in between there? So we have to be looking forward to give and have something that our children's children can look back on and say, this is what my grandfather did. This is what my grandmother did, right? And that's great that you're leaving not just something small, but some inspiration, because you never know what your grandchildren may have to look back on as far as the book goes, right? And with that, is there anything currently that you're working on?
Honestly, just in the room across from me right now is 3 bins of 3 different books that are already written. But when I was writing, it's all in little journals and on pieces of paper. And to publish a book, you have to have formatting, and it has to be on computer. And so they're sitting there. I'm working on books, getting more words out there. Meeting people like you with this platform that helps to spread the message and hopefully helps somebody listening is really just kind of what I'm feeling right now. Is just blessed to be able to be in the space, to be able to share what I have. It's just beyond anything that I could have dreamt about being little.
Well, it's not little, because we actually need that. You know, I say this all the time, Ms. Andrea, that, you know, you never know how you're touching somebody. And if I could only reach just one, then I've done my job, right? Because that one may lead to 1,000 or 10,000. But it's the fact of just doing something. Like you said, you took those poems and that poetry and put it on the paper, and then now it becomes a book, right? Just doing something and getting started, you know, and that's what we have to do when it comes to writing books and helping people, is getting started, right?
Yeah. And then the resistance will come and say, "Oh, don't start," with 20 reasons why. And so there's a Zen practice for that, a Zen saying, which you've probably heard of, that says, "Start where you are." So let's break it down for people listening. Start where you are. What does it mean? Are you feeling pain in your body per se? Can you start there? What are you feeling? Maybe write that down. Right? Wherever you are, starting where you are isn't outside. everything that happens is within us.
Right. I
Nothing
totally
has
agree.
happened outside. If my hand was on your hand right now, Dominic, and you close your eyes, I would say, where is this happening for you? And it's not my hand on you. It's what you feel on the inside. And so
Definitely.
sometimes start where you are just means, like, if your leg is broken and you can't walk right now, that's the start. If your sciatic nerve is out, you start there. If somebody just died, that's where you start. Write about that. Talk about that. Feel that. That's the start. Feel it.
Mm.
Not swipe, not fast paced, not at the mall, not at the restaurant. Mm-mm.
That's so inspiring. That is so inspiring, you know. And I know we're doing the show, but I'm taking that in for myself. You know, I'm gonna have to take that for myself, Miss Andrea, because you know
Oh,
it's a lot that I want to push forward for in 2024, and this is one of the things that I want to do. I want to get into writing and get into the format of writing and everything. But I know that that will come. But the thing is that there's so much that we go through. It's so much pain, but a lot of people don't know how to share that pain or share what
yeah.
they're going through, you know, and we want to make it on platforms like this to where they can say, okay, I got an inspiration to
Yeah.
move now, because sometimes we're just stagnant. We're just comfortable where we're at, right?
Yeah, and sometimes, I mean, I didn't have the internet growing up. I won't guess
Right.
your age, but I didn't have the internet. We didn't hear anything. And if you were a woman, or if you were European, you just shh,
Right.
and you don't speak about it, and you don't talk about it. You don't hear nothing. You don't say nothing,
Right.
right? So it's time to break those shackles. This is what my book, No Matter How Dark the Stain, is. We are putting words to these things, and we are breaking the shame and the guilt of all the stuff that happened to us, because we can't control that. But we can control right now and what we do moving forward. That's all on us.
Definitely. Definitely.
But it's hard when there's not words, and this is what the poetry is about. This is what poets write about. It's kind of a connection between this world and what's possible, and the poets bring that forth in life. And my Zen teacher, my yoga teacher, he always taught a class, and he always read a poem first and read a poem at the end. And he always said, one poem a day softens your heart, and
Wow.
it keeps you soft.
That is so true. So true. You know, and it's just a testament to what you're doing and what you're going to do. There's greater coming from you, but people have to be able to see and hear your story, you know. And you say the internet, right? We come from a generation where you actually had to read the book. Now it's so much audio books. You actually have to go get a hardback book and read the book, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
We have. Did you ever have Cole's bookstore?
say that Cole's
Did you?
bookstore?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
There was Cole's notes on some of those books. The Great Gatsby, they had Cole's notes. So,
Yes, yes.
but you
I
still
read
had to read it.
the Inspector Charlie Brown, and he was doing all of these things, and those are the things we had. Comic books, that was our free time, you know, was getting and reading a book. But not only that, books such as yours help give us that great knowledge and understanding of certain aspects of our lives that we may not know, or somebody may have not shared that with us, because like you said, some of our childhood may have been so hard that you know, we don't know where to go, because a lot of people don't understand how to gain healing. You know, and with your books, they definitely can open up somebody who was closed off, because like you said, we come from a generation where it was, shh, don't say this, you got to be quiet, don't tell nobody your business. My mother used to always say, what happens in our house stays in our house, don't be running around telling.
Yeah,
So a lot
right.
of that hurt is still there. But I thank you that you're able to share and help a lot of us open up.
You know, I don't think I'm different than anybody else, and I know I'm not. And yes, I've had some extraordinary experiences happen to me, but it's all why I'm sitting here today. We are interconnected. The fact that I have written the books and have this strength that I've cultivated to be able to share it, It's just a reminder that we're all, it's one heart, it's one love. If you're Catholic, it's one begotten Son. We're
Right.
all it, and we're all one. I'm not better than anyone or worse. We're all just walking each other home. And that's really important too. I'm just a small town girl, and I had a really big dream in my heart. And I had these words that I didn't even know what they meant flowing through my body. And then it all made sense, and I published it to help other people. But we're all like that. We all have these like simmering, burning embers in our soul dying to come out. We're
Yes.
all like that. And I hope that my presence or my books or the words are just spark that in you. Because when someone else is lifted, we're all lifted. It's
Yes.
interconnected, a little frequency, a nice little web,
I totally agree with that,
you
and
know?
it's so inspiring that, you said the interconnecting, right? I believe that we
Yeah,
are connected, even if we don't know each other, right? But if you're lifted up, that can lift
yeah,
somebody else up just by them seeing your journey and where you come from
yeah,
to where you are
yeah,
now. And I believe
yeah.
that a platform such as this can definitely help lift up somebody else, especially when we have people such as yourself come on and give great inspiration, great motivation
Mm-hmm,
on things that we didn't know was out there to
mm-hmm.
help us in our lives, because we have to become aligned mind, body, and soul within ourselves before we can go outside of ourselves in order to try to help somebody else. Sometimes you have to help yourself get over those things, and,
Yeah,
and you definitely are writing them down to help us get over those
I,
things.
I wrote I wrote them all down since age 7. So some of it you want to read and some of it you won't. But here's what I think. I think that we are all aligned, body, mind, and soul. It's already there. I don't think there's another book we need to read. I don't. Oh wait, except mine. No, just kidding.
Wait,
But
wait,
I,
wait.
I
Plug.
wait a minute. Rewind. No, I'm just kidding. Really, healing can happen in an instant. And what I want people to know is that you already have what you need to heal inside of you. It's so important. And here's what I found out through writing the process of the book, and I love it, and it's so true, is that the dark parts of your life, the darkness that you experience, and the light that you experience are both love.
Right.
They're both love. But you can't see things when you're in it. And when you're in a dark place, all you see is darkness, and there's no way out,
Right.
which is tough. But there's gems there, there's jewels there, and the light comes. Joseph Campbell, on the darkest day, the light will come. And so, if you're listening and you're in a dark place, look for the glimmers, look for the lights,
I
follow that.
I totally agree with you, Miss Andrea, because I was telling somebody the other day, I said, pain is necessary just like joy is necessary. It's a lesson in both of them if we actually are
Yeah,
looking for it. You just said
I
that,
know.
and it's so crazy because we need these things in order to grow. But like you said,
It,
because
it,
it's
it,
inside of us, that pain will
it's
pull out
all
something just like the
mm-hmm,
joy will pull out something,
mm-hmm.
to help us to grow and to be better as people. Um, for those that are out there that are going to be watching and listening on the radio, what do you hope the readers will gain from reading your books?
Mm. I hope that readers will gain a sense that there's a light within them and that they are not what happened to them. And I hope that they get inspiration, a little bit lit, a little bit of courage. Um, Pick up a pen, maybe write something down, just to take a step or one breath in the direction of what's inside. That's what I hope. When I teach yoga, I I did go to Toronto at one point to try and heal the world of all of the AIDS patients, and I thought I could save the world. But now, as I sit here and I have my yoga studio, I know that it's one breath at a time, just one breath at a time, one student at a time, one conversation at a time. And that's it's important for people to know that everything is possible. And you're the one. No one else is coming. It's you. And
Mm.
and it's very, very simple. It can be very, very simple. This day and age, it can be simple. It wasn't for you and I growing up, but right now, if you listen to me, what I'm saying to you, just one thought a day. Can you concentrate on one thought a day? That will strengthen the muscles. The world will open up for you. If you write that one sentence, more will come. This is energy. This is the universe. This isn't Andrea talking. This is what happens. Take a step in that direction, and there's a whole universe dying for you to take that breath, to write that word down. It will match you, and that's the magic of life. And it's just not something you think about. It's actually an action that you take.
Definitely. I thank you for those words of encouragement to those who will read your book and those who need that type of encouragement, because we are energy. I do believe that. Oftentimes I associate that with, I say a little joke. I tell people, hey, you want to know how we are energy? If you walk into a room and everybody's been talking about you, the room energy changes when you walk in.
Right?
And it's funny how you say we're energy, but we have to stay on a positive level with our energy and know who we're interconnected to and connected to with our energy. Would you say that our energy and vibes can go up or down from what you've experienced?
Up or down, as in vertical?
Like, how would our energy go if, our energy goes according to who we're connected to?
I think I agree 100%. Everything is energy. And I think that you can transform it, which I've done with the poetry. And I think there's a process of alchemy that happens. And I think that it's just about knowing yourself and where you're at, which brings us back to start where you are, right? I don't think it matters what energy you wear, but are you attuned to it?
Right.
And then can you make choices to choose the energies that you allow around, right? So once you find where you are, right, then it's, okay, who am I inviting over? Who am I talking to? You start to do a little inventory. There's a little process that happens. Right? You're nodding.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about. Thank
yes. I totally agree. I totally agree. It's all energy, and we're, forms of energy. And like it was once said, energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transferred.
Yeah.
Right? So we have to know how we're transferring our energy back and forth amongst ourselves. And with your writings and your books, this will help people also. I'm definitely going to order, me, myself, personally, I'm going to order the books because I have my youngest daughter. I'm going to just say it. My youngest daughter, you said alchemy. My youngest daughter's in the alchemy. She's in the sage. She's in the, the oneness. So I definitely want to order your books so that way I can give them to her as a gift for her birthday is actually coming up February 1st. And, I think your books reach all levels of age. Because everyone needs that kind of inspiration.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's a good point. I haven't heard somebody say that, but as you said it, I was thinking I really did write from 7 all the way to my glorious age right now. And so you're right. There is like that, the decades there that can resonate. That's interesting. Thank you for that.
Yes. And once again, can you let people know where they can reach you at?
Yeah. So if you're interested in just starting a calming practice, maybe just want to open your heart in 1 to 2 minutes, I have videos on YouTube, Andrea L. Whalen on YouTube, and they're free. And they're 1 minute, 2 minutes, 6 minutes, because we're fast paced, and I get it, but you can still calm down, you can still relax. So there's some videos there on YouTube channel, Andrea L. Whalen. Also, find me on social media somewhere, Gangamoon Yoga or Andrea L. Whalen on Facebook, Instagram. I am on LinkedIn as well, Square Site. My events throughout the year are on Eventbrite under my name, Andrea L. Whalen. So yeah, find me, reach out, let me know how this impacts you. Let me know how I can help you. How can I serve is what I ask myself.
Definitely, definitely. And again, the name of your 3 books.
No matter how dark the stain, poems and inspiration for the woman in pain. Deeper Days is 365 yoga inspirations for inner calm amidst chaos, and Stillness in the Storm, a conscious daily journal of yoga and spiritual healing. They're all written just for you to shine, to hear your inner song, and to light that destiny. And by doing that, I get raised up, we all get raised up, and the world is a better place.
Definitely, definitely. This is the Conversation Kingz. I'm your host, Dominic Emerson, here on LA Talk Radio, and I'm speaking to the best-selling author, poet, yoga teacher, Miss Andrea Whalen, and she is giving great inspiration, great nuggets that we all should take with ourselves on getting started on writing, getting started in learning yoga, getting started on how to use and utilize our energy correctly. If there's anything that you need, I definitely say that you should go and tap into all of her sites, go follow her, go get the inspiration that you require and desire in order for you to be uplifted. Is there any words of inspiration before we get ready to get out of here that you would like to share, Miss Andrea? And I thank you once again for coming on and sharing. And we definitely will do this again, because I think that you're somebody that inspired me and will inspire others, and I appreciate it. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart, because this is my new, I don't do resolutions, Miss Andrea, but this is something that I want to get into, understanding the oneness within myself, getting to my mind, body, and soul, how to bring it out, because it's already inside of me. So for those out there, can you give some inspirational words before we end our show?
Yeah. The dark and the light are both love. I want to show you, you have all you need inside you right now to heal. Keep going. This is a hero's journey. You're a long distance train. Keep going. You can handle hard things, and you're not alone. You're not alone. There's greatness within you. Shine so bright.
Thank you very much. And, as always, this is the Conversation Kingz. I'm your host, Dominic Emerson, here on LA Talk Radio. And as always, like, follow, subscribe on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn. And please follow our guest, Miss Andrea Whalen, on all of her channels. Go pick up those books. If you want inspiration and understanding and motivation within yourselves on how to get into writing, how to get into yoga, how to be spiritually in tune with yourself. I heard you say that, Miss Andrea, in tune, right? So be in tune with yourself. You definitely want to go pick her books up. This is the Conversation Kingz, and I thank you once again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on LA Talk Radio. Thank you again, Miss Andrea, for coming on and talking with us all.
Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for having me. Thanks for being you. Thank you.
You're listening to Conversation Kingz with Dominic Emerson, only on LA Talk Radio.